Alright, good morning everybody. It is currently, let's see what time it is. It's currently 5:40 and we are out on Wolf Run this morning and it is an absolutely gorgeous morning. I don't know if you could see all the fog down in this little valley behind me here. And got a couple of deers over here watching us. Absolutely gorgeous conditions right now. We got clear skies overhead and the sun I think just came up, but it's not gonna clear the hills probably maybe for another 25 minutes or so. But I've got a composition right now of this small grouping of trees down there just in this nice soft atmosphere, and it looks absolutely amazing. I'm super excited right now because I've never had fog here on Wolf Run. I kind of had fog in the winter time, but it wasn't like this type of fog. It was a different type of fog. I don't know how else to describe it, but super, super excited. When we were driving down from Quaker, saw a whole bunch of fog obscuring some of the hills in the distance over the Allegany River, and I wasn't sure if I'd get lucky with some fog over here, but we actually ended up lucking out here. I'm going to lock in another frame with this grouping of trees. Check this out here. Couple of curious spirits. Alright, but I'm just doing F8 ISO 100. Nothing fancy. Hello. And probably gonna move further down the road here after I take a few more frames of this, and then we'll be on our way. So we moved down the road a little bit. Sun looks like it's getting closer and closer to cresting the hills here. It is currently about 6 o'clock, so my guess was maybe around 6 o'clock the sun would start to peak, but it might be a little longer than that. But I'm not complaining. I am enjoying the softer light for now. I'm hoping there's still enough fog left in the air when the sun does crest these hills, maybe cast a few light rays. Love photos like that. You got awesome subjects like these amazing trees in the background here that are set at the edge of this little beaver meadow. There's lots of beaver activity here on this section of the park, and I'm gonna go ahead and take another frame here. And it allows for some really interesting foregrounds. A lot of water here, a lot of reflections, a lot of dead wood, a lot of standing dead trees, which is kind of what I'm framing up over here. Is still one living tree, another bigger one in the background, and then there's a whole host of these snags sticking up out of that marshy wetland, and it just looks really, really cool. Very soft light, nice atmosphere. I'm just going to keep walking down just on foot occasionally, just to see how the angle on all of this stuff changes in terms of making a better composition, because I am getting a little overexcited, and then when that happens I tend to go a little too quick and rush things. So I'm trying to just slow down as much as I can. and make sure I'm putting the composition first and not any sort of just, you know, love at first sight kind of emotions. Which is really hard for me to do at some points, because I'd always just want to take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. Whatever looks good, just boom, send it. But you see this tree here, I'm not sure of the species, but this tree looks kind of nice from this angle here. Kind of lose the wetland and that little reflecting pool that it offers. But that's all right. And further down that way, there's another more open section with some larger trees out in a distant beaver meadow. So I'm excited to get to that spot. I shot sunrise there in December of last year when there was hoarfrost and clear skies, and that was amazing. So we'll see if the sunrise can top that. Not that it has to, but yeah, really incredible light. Try to record as much good B-roll as I can. A lot of birds flying around too. Gorgeous morning. Absolutely gorgeous. Wind is calm. Very nice. So we encountered a little problem down the road that way. The road was actually closed. I don't know why it's closed. We were able to just walk around and keep going up the road, and I figured maybe it was a tree fall or something, that they'd keep the road closed to vehicles, but I don't see anything just yet. So ended up, like I said, just walking around the gate and making our way down here, and really glad I did, because I'm watching this scene down here. It's one I photographed before, back in late winter, early spring. It's mainly just some of those aspens down there. They're catching some really great side light. But right now, with the hills behind them and everything, I'm going for like a much wider scene than I did in the past. I kind of did more of a telephoto shot of those trees from way up a ways, well, just down there where my dad is. So. But I think right here with the 24-200 on, currently at about 145 millimeters, got the polarizer on. The sun is just about to clear this peak behind me, and it's almost been an hour past sunrise. In fact, in 2 minutes it'll be an hour past sunrise, so that just gives you an idea of how much of a delay there is. You can see all these aspen trees over there. That's one of the reasons I love this section of the park, because there's a ton of aspen trees out here. Really awesome. And there's still just more fog. When I keep thinking that the fog is going to go away, it comes back. Absolutely gorgeous start to the morning. Oh, and I guess this would be a good time to tell you guys how the firefly escapade went last night. Well, I came up with one, like I said, makeshift composition that I kind of I copied it from a photo I took back in the fall. That one didn't work, and ended up turning the camera around and did a little makeshift composition. And while it was tricky to get the exposure right, because it kept getting darker and darker, because I was just trying to run off a bunch of frames at once. A little lazy of me. I probably could have just done them all at once, or individually, but I think I got lucky with maybe 1 or 2 frames that have a ton of fireflies in them that I wouldn't need to blend. So I think it went well. Again, I haven't, looked at the picture on a big screen just yet, so but I'll update you guys on that at a later video. But I'm gonna move. There's a little bit more fog that's showing up in between these peaks over here, so adding a little bit more depth and separation, so I want to make sure I grab that frame. Doing a bracket as well, just to protect the highlights. A little bit of cloud in the sky too, just a little bit, not completely blue. But yeah, I'm gonna continue shooting through this little lighting event here, and then probably just continue to walk down the road. All right, so as you can see, the sun has finally crested. Well, I should say it probably crested this hill probably maybe about 10-15 minutes ago, and I've been going crazy since. You can just see, I don't know how well this camera's gonna handle it, but fog hanging around with all this direct sunlight. Got a few subjects out there, mainly that one little tree. I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see it with the wide angle here, but I'll try to get some B-roll maybe with the big camera. Absolutely gorgeous morning out here. Second sunrise of the trip, third full day, and just as I'm talking, I see another subject right over there. Beautiful tree casting some awesome shadows and light rays, and the hillside behind it is still perfectly dark, so she stands out really, really nicely. So I'm gonna put this camera down and grab that picture. Yeah, so the scene I was talking about before I last cut off, again, just this amazing tree line that's got these sun rays coming through because it's still a little bit of fog lingering in the valley, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It reminds me of a photo I took here last year, not in this exact spot, but in this park. I titled it Acer Wisdom. It's on the cover of my book, and it's hands down one of my favorite photos I've ever taken in this park. Easily top 3, and I don't know, the pictures I just got a few minutes ago might give that one a run for its money. And especially with how sort of unproductive I felt yesterday, this definitely feels really good to have this kind of win with the conditions, at least. I kind of took a stab in the dark with where I wanted to shoot sunrise, and I was like, you know what? I haven't been to this location in about 6 months for a sunrise, so why not just start there? And just as the sun keeps moving through the sky, these scenes on this tree line here out in the field, they just keep evolving, keep changing, getting better. We're well outside of golden hour now, but this is perfect conditions, perfect light as far as I'm concerned. All right, so the fog is starting to clear out a little bit. There is still a little bit of nice atmosphere, kind of making for some softer light down in the valley over here. I know you guys probably can't see a damn thing. I apologize. I'll try to get some B-roll with the big camera, but I want to show you something. Fog. Ooh. That's a nice little angle on that subject here. A little small tree I photographed just down this way. But I want to show you something real quick. And it's just how the fog is kind of moving in waves, whereas it cleared out kind of in the area that I'm in. And I feel like I've been chasing the fog down, coming down southward on this road. And if we look back this way, you can see that the fog is rolling back in, at least down here. And that's kind of interesting. Makes me want to just run all the way back over there. Now, if we were able to drive the truck down here, that would make things a little bit easier, obviously. Am I seeing a... Oh, is that a fog bow? Got to pull the mosquito net up because it's hard to see with it on. It kind of looks like half a fog bow there. Yeah, you can kind of see it arcs around here. Never really seen a fog bow in person, but yeah, just to give you guys a look, you can see. And there's normally a big hillside here. You can't even see it anymore because the fog has obscured it once more, and the fog is starting to pour back in over here. Really, really awesome. Now, the other thing I'm kind of struggling with too is I've only visited this area a small handful of times, and you know, having a lot of subjects memorized and things like that, I don't really have that many. And I see a nice little scene right there. I'm going to run back and grab my camera. Especially with most of the work I've done in this area has been in the winter and in late winter, early spring, when there's been no foliage. Especially at this time of day, it's kind of thrown me for a loop because I don't know any subjects that I found in the past, like how do they look now that the leaves are back on the trees, right? So it kind of changes everything. Not for the worse per se, but it just makes, it's kind of like I got to refine my bearings. That's kind of what it feels like. And you add that on top of these crazy conditions, and then I start feeling like I'm going a million miles an hour. I'm trying my best to capture what I can here and bringing you guys along for the journey. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this guy right here. That little beautiful tree. That's gonna get shot as well. Gorgeous morning. Wind is still calm, skies are clear. Very excited. Speechless. The fog has picked up even thicker than it was earlier. Look at this beauty right here. That's this little tree right here I'm going after. Oh, and there is a fog bow. Look at this. A full fog bow. It's very faint. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, but there's a nice little fog bow right there. Maybe I can get some of it. Oh no, I need a new battery. Oh, I need to grab a new battery. Alright, so camera died, put a new battery in it, and like I was saying earlier, the fog has picked up heavily, and it's lingering, and it's currently almost 2 hours after sunrise. Zero complaints here. Got a beautiful set of aspen trees here that I'm photographing from just over there. I think I got a nice angle on them. Worked it a little bit to get the trunks all nicely separated. But you got the white bark, the nice green leaves, and that soft, misty background. And I tried to get a picture of that fog bow, but my camera died mid-shutter, and it didn't take the picture, but I'm not really super concerned about that. Just cool to see with your eyes, you know? But I think the only logical thing to do now is to keep going down that way, because there's a really, really big tree. I'm not sure the species, maybe a maple, that's down a little ways from here, and maybe we can make it in time before the fog fully disappears on us, because that could happen literally at any minute. Just gonna grab another frame here. All right, so I just ducked into a little I don't know if I want to call it a secret spot, but it's literally off the beaten path. And me and my brother actually walked in there on my last visit to this area, and it was a good scout. Didn't really come away with anything of note. The conditions weren't that great, but with this fog right now, I think, and I don't say this lightly, but I think I might have just taken one of my greatest pictures ever. And you know, it's a good picture right off rip when you already have a title in mind. The title comes to you as you're pressing the shutter, and I won't reveal what the title is just yet, but I think it's going to be a very fitting title. But now we are walking down the road here, trying to get to a large maple tree that I haven't seen since the winter time, but we still got to walk just a little bit, maybe no more than half a mile, I would say. But it's a nice easy walk on a beautiful morning. Foggy light rays everywhere, birds singing. And somehow, as remote of an area as this place is, I think we both heard a lawnmower earlier. Which is funny, because I've always touted this place for its silence and how quiet it can be. But I guess not in the summertime. But I will update you guys when we get down a ways, and probably hang out there a little bit and then make our way back. Though, really wish I had the truck right now, because I'd rather be driving than walking. Since my little action cam is about to die, I don't feel like changing batteries. I'm just gonna switch over to recording on my phone. I found the big tree. I was unsure of what kind of tree this guy was, but it is a black walnut, which honestly, for how gnarly it looks, it kind of makes sense. Came by here in the winter and we thought it might be a maple just from the road, but that is a black walnut. Gorgeous looking tree. The fog has rolled out though, or burned off. But that's all right. I'm more than happy with what I got today. I could definitely use a shower and some breakfast, that's for sure. So if I have any more updates, I'll record them on here. But for now, I think this is where this section of the video is going to wrap up. Alright, so it is now 6:38 in the afternoon. Spent a little time at the cabin, got some dinner outside of the park, and now I am pulled over along one of the park's main roads to investigate a scene that I saw just through the woods, just through the tree line, just down the road from here. I kind of want to check it out. I see a lot of little roadside glimmers here and there, and I figured today is just a good day to try to go ahead and check it out, right? See if it's actually as good as my brain thought it was when I've driven by it this past several times. So I definitely want to investigate that. My goal tonight is feeling a little bit aimless. All the places I've written down, none of them are really piquing my interest today, especially with the conditions we have, which is basically just, mostly clear skies and sunshine. Not the most optimal conditions for woodland, and with the lack of sleep I got earlier today and the heat, which is still unbearable even here almost 7 o'clock in the afternoon, motivation's a little low, but I'm taking it easy. I'm going to check out this little spot here. I got my bike in the back of the truck because I might go down to old Francebrook Road and take the bike down the road and just see what I see in this rather nice evening light, even if it isn't the most ideal. Nice gentle breeze, very calm, and I'm excited to see what's down over there. You can see behind me the scene I was just talking about, not far down the road at all. And just to get into here, there's really no understory, so I don't got to worry about a whole lot of ticks or anything. But yeah, this is it. I'm gonna spend some time here, pull out the viewfinder, and see if I can't pull some kind of meaningful composition out of these two down trees here. I will say that this small little tree here is definitely going to make things a little bit more difficult. But I'm going to try to make it work. If it doesn't work out, it's no big deal. Just something to cross off the list, so to speak. And, if it doesn't work now, maybe it works in a different time of year. Maybe in the winter, maybe on a rainy day. And as I look back here, there's tons of down trees. It's not just these two. There's a whole bunch more back there. I don't know how well you guys can see, but just back in there, and there's even one right here. It's kind of like a little graveyard almost. Yeah, I'm going to put the camera down and see what I can do. So I've just taken a few images here of this scene, and instead of focusing on both of these uprooted trees, I am focusing solely on this smaller tree here, which I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this small sapling here that's just getting hit with some really nice light, like perfect spotlight, and placing this big uprooted root ball on the left side, this guy on the right third, and kind of trying to make it work that way. I don't know if the light, which is now getting a lot dimmer on this small sapling here, I don't know if that's gonna be enough separation to make this photo actually work. I did a few vertical and a few horizontal, as I think either or could honestly work. Another thing I'm noticing too is it looks to be some kind of creek bed that maybe runs through here, so maybe in the next couple days, which we are supposed to get a few thunderstorms, maybe enough rain will dump through here and add even more to this scene. Some flowing rapids through here, which I doubt we'll get with the rain we're gonna get, but fingers crossed, maybe it'll add something quite nice to this little secluded section of woods. Regardless though, I think I'm gonna head back to the truck and I'm gonna check out a trailhead briefly that I've pretty much told myself I would never walk down just because how long it is, but I just drove by it now and it looks, the first part looks pretty passable, so I'm gonna go take a stab at it, just at least check it out. While en route to that trailhead I was talking about, I drove past this lovely little stretch of Quaker Run, and it just caught my eye and I pulled over. I'm very weak-willed when it comes to this stuff. A lot of the times, these things that I see, they just don't end up working out great, but I had to stop for this, and I'm glad I did because, let me show you guys what I'm working with here. Beautiful hemlock with a branch overhanging the creek, and it's just getting hit with this beautiful soft light right now, with the rapids beneath it also getting a little bit, and I just think it looks delectable. It's going to be a bit of a tricky one to process, but I think it looks pretty great. Nice little roadside glimmer. And I like photographing these because these are the things that, a lot of people are just constantly driving by as they go through the park, as it's not really a point of interest, right? But I think there's a lot to be seen on the side of the road here. I think some of the coolest things tend to be on the side of the road, and people drive past them all the time. So I'm always happy to capture something I find, something cool like this. How do people just leave this shit here, man? I don't get it. I'll be taking that back to camp with me. I will tell you what, the amount of fishing lines I see hanging in these trees along the edge of Science Lake here is kind of frustrating. I mean, I get accidents happen and it'd be pretty unsafe to try to retrieve some of these things, but I see countless bobbers just in the branches here. That's kind of ridiculous. But as you already can tell, I'm back at Science Lake. Why am I back at Science Lake? Well, call it laziness, call it indecisiveness, call it can't make up my damn mind, call it I'm too tired to want to bike down France Brook Road. Call it any number of things. This is just my comfort spot lately. And when I drove past here, the water is completely glass. And it's still pretty damn still as it stands. So I'm just going to mess around with some more reflection shots. I really love doing these as of late. The water has just these faintest ripples that are coming from something in the water, a fish or something. Because always like circular ripples from one little point. So I think I'm going to mess around with that. And why is it every time I start recording, I hear a motorcycle or a car coming? It happens every time without fail. So I think I found the source of all my ripples. There's a beaver right there munching on some twigs or branches, and just the motion of him chewing is creating these, oh, he just went underwater, it's creating these circular ripples, and it looks really cool. It's really exciting because I haven't seen this guy since probably April. It's good to see him again. We'll see if he gives me a tail slap. So I'm pretty sure they have a den just down the side of the lake there, probably 50 to 100 feet away on the same bank. Really cool. I try to get some B-roll there with the camera. Always a nice sight to see beaver. But now on to a more personal note, I guess. And that is figuring out what my plan of attack is going to be for tomorrow, I guess, and the rest of the days of this trip. Now, it is supposed to cool down a decent amount between today and tomorrow. Well, over the next 3 days, it's supposed to cool down a lot, like by 10, 13 degrees. And I'm really hoping it does, because I don't like to make excuses, but the heat really hasn't made things easy. And you're saying, well, you're wearing a long sleeve and pants. Well, I do that regardless of the temperature. I don't like getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, and you already know how I feel about ticks. But this is otherworldly heat and humidity the past 3 days, past 4 days, really. It's been brutal. And I'm excited for it to pass. So hopefully that with a change of conditions too, I mean, we've really just had blue sky, maybe a few wispy clouds here and there. The weather's been pretty much exactly the same over the last 3 days. And, you know, I always say I like to make photos work in any conditions, whether it be epic fog like we had this morning or, you know, just bluebird skies and, you know, you can kind of see, maybe you can't see, you know, some wispy clouds above blue sky, right? I like to try to make stuff work, and that's kind of why I'm here doing what I'm doing, because this is something that just kind of inspires me right now. And maybe if it were overcast and maybe if it were raining or whatever the case may be, maybe I'd feel compelled to go elsewhere. But right now, I kind of like the spot a lot. And with the conditions that we've had, like I said, I think that's maybe why I've been drawn to this area, is because it's just a good go-to no matter what, because I just am in love with the reflections that I can get here and the sort of the abstract stuff. But with the cooling that's coming in the next few days, thankfully, finally, there is supposed to be some sort of thunderstorms and showers and more cloud cover and dappled light. So I'm hoping that change of weather is going to give me a little bit of inspiration, a little bit more decisiveness instead of indecisiveness about thinking about where exactly I want to go, because every set of conditions, for the most part, calls me to a different part of the park, I feel like. So I think I hear a barred owl. I hear lots of barred owls here, man. It's such a cool sound, especially when they start to duet. I heard that the other night, and around midnight, I was leaving the shower facility and I heard 2 of them in the distance. Kind of creepy, but also really cool. But I think I'm just gonna round out the evening here. Now that the beaver has moved on, and he's not really causing any more ripples, I think I can get some really crisp reflections, barring the occasional fish that comes up and, I don't know, eats a bug on the surface of the water. I'm not sure what's causing this, but these little tiny ripples that just kind of spontaneously pop up throughout. Maybe it's a bug hitting the water, maybe it's a fish trying to get a bug above the water, I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna sign off here. This video has probably been long enough with all of the footage from the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, and now today. So I am happy to say though, I did check out a few places on the side of the road and a few little hidden spots that I've been dying to just check out the past couple days, and I'm glad I just kind of checked those off the list. And now they're kind of in the mental bank for future endeavors. So like I said, I'm going to wrap it up here on a maybe anticlimactic note. That's all right. Not every morning, not every evening can be like the morning we had this morning. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.